Hi everybody, it's Shalene, and it's Friday Reads, a day late. Sorry about that. I have been reading. I want to show you what I've been reading. I don't have a picture of the first book I finished. I finished The Breakdown by B.A. Paris. I don't have a cover for it. I got it from NetGalley, and it's just a plain old white cover. I gave this a 4-star out of 5. This is the same author that wrote Behind Closed Doors, which I absolutely loved. This one had to do with a woman who is a teacher. And at the end of the school year, the teachers all go out to a local bar, and she got ready to leave, and she calls her husband, and it's storming out, and he tells her, please do not take the back road to our house. Do not go by the woods. It's dark out. It's not a lighted area. He doesn't feel it's safe. Please stay on the highway. So she takes the highway, but the drivers there are weaving in and out, and it's just backed up and it's crazy. So she decides to take the back road. Andy tells her he wasn't waiting up for her because he has a migraine. He's going to go sleep in the guest room. So she says, okay. So she gets off the highway, goes down the back road, and she sees a car, and she thinks it's stranded. So as she drives by slowly, she notices a woman sitting in the car, and she keeps creeping up and decides, well, maybe I should stop in front of the car. Maybe she needs help because phone reception out there is really bad. So she pulls in front of the car, and she waits and waits to see if the lady's going to get out of her car. It's raining out, and she doesn't want to get out of her car. I think her name's Cass. Cass, I believe, is her name, Cass. She doesn't want to get out of the car because it's raining, so she figures if this lady needs help, she's going to get out of her car or she'll flash her headlights. She waits and waits and waits, nothing. So she figures, well, maybe she did get a hold of somebody, so she goes home. She doesn't go in to wake up her husband. She doesn't go in and check on him because she knows he has a migraine. He gets them. He'll sleep it off. So she goes directly to bed. And the next day, she finds out that there was a murder. And the woman in the car had been murdered. So now she feels guilty. And she finds out that she knew this woman. She had had lunch with her one day. She had met her. I forgot where she had met her, but they had become friends. And she starts getting phone calls in the mornings after her husband leaves for work. And she thinks it's the murderer. The murderer knows what she thinks, that she saw something. And now she's starting to lose her mind because her best friend calls her up and says, don't forget to pick up the birthday gift for so-and-so. And she doesn't remember ever having a conversation about picking up a birthday gift. So she says, why don't we meet for lunch and we'll go get it together? So they meet up for lunch. And her best friend says, you know, you talked about it. It was your idea and we all gave you the money. And Cass doesn't remember getting any money from anybody. So it goes on from there of her losing her mind. She thinks she has pre-Alzheimer's or pre-dementia, because that's what her mom passed away from at a young age. And her husband is really worried about her, and her best friend's really worried about her, and she keeps forgetting all this stuff. Everybody's telling her this and this, and she's forgetting everything. And so the doctor prescribes medicine for her, and it knocks her out, and she's ordering things from the shopping channel, and she doesn't remember, and it's just, she's losing her mind. So you'll find out at the end what really happened. I would have given this a 5-star because I absolutely loved the writing. But the very end just leaves you hanging. It's not like it'll be a sequel. It's just like, I need to know a little bit more in the end. But I highly recommend it, and I got it from NetGalley. And then the second book this week that I read was called Any Dream Will Do by Debbie Macomber. I don't know, is it Macomber or Macomber? And it looks like this. And this had to do with a woman that she had spent time in prison. Her mother, she had come from an abusive father. Her mother had passed away and asked her to watch her brother. Her brother's a little bit younger than her. He's always in trouble. And she did not finish school. After her mother died, she had met up with a wrong guy who got her into, well, he didn't get her into drugs. She wouldn't do the drugs. But she was hanging out with the bad crowd. And her brother was doing drugs and in a bad crowd. So it starts out with her talking to her brother. And he owes bad guys a lot of money. And she works in a bank. And he asks her to borrow some money. And he promises her that he will pay her back within a couple days. Nothing will happen. And she ends up getting caught and spending time in prison for a couple years. And her brother never talked to her again. He got his money, done. So when she gets out of prison, she has nobody. So the bus drops her off in front of a church. So she goes in the church because she has nowhere to go. And the pastor's in the front of the church, and he comes to talk to her. And she's got an attitude. She's been in prison. She's been wronged. Her brother has wronged her, and so she has a chip on her shoulder. So he takes her to a center that will try to help her get back on her feet. They will work with her with counseling. She has to go on a program. They will find a small house for her so she can find a place to live. They will find a job for her. So the pastor keeps checking on her, and she ends up at the church, and she meets his children, and his children fall for her, and he falls for her, but her past catches up to her, and some of the church members are not happy that the pastor is helping out this girl that they're calling an ex-convict. So it's a really good book. And she got a job at a diner, and the customers really like her. And she gets close to the pastor's daughter. She's young. They had lost their mom to cancer like 4 years earlier. And so they become friends, and she has her own little place. And it was a really cute book. I like Debbie Macomber anyways. So it's a typical book of hers. And right now I started A Promise of Fireflies by Susan Haught. I don't think I have a cover for this either. Let me see. Yes, I do. Susan Haught. Looks like that. Promise of Fireflies. That is also from NetGalley. And so was the Debbie Macomber book. That was from NetGalley. I don't know what this book is about. I've only just started it, and it starts out with this woman whose mom had passed away, and she's going through some of her personal items. So I don't know the synopsis of this. I didn't look it up. But it's supposed to be like a woman's fiction. So that's what I've been reading. And then next week I want to finish A Promise of Fireflies and read Seeing Red by Sandra Brown, which is also a NetGalley book. And if I have time, The Girl in Snow by Danya Kafa. I was emailed from the publisher to read this through NetGalley, so I accepted it. So I've heard that one or two people have said they couldn't finish the book. They didn't like it. So I don't even remember what it's about. I don't remember what Seeing Red by Sandra Brown is about. I know hers is a mystery. So, yeah, that's what I've been reading. And it's been fun reading again. I'm hoping to keep on with this reading. I have quite a few more NetGalley books, but I just want to read NetGalley through July, and then August and September. I was going to do it this month, but I didn't. So it's going to extend through the end of September. I have a whole bunch of beach reads. Ton of them on my Kindle app. Plus I own a few physical books. So I can't wait to get to those. If it's not too hot, I like to sit out on the porch and read. And maybe listen to ocean waves on the stereo. So that's what's going on with me and my reading. It's been fun doing my reading. My Friday reads again. Sorry, one is a day late. I was just really tired Friday night from babysitting, so it had been really hot in Dylan's house. By the time I got home, I was just done for. So I didn't feel like doing a video. But I will talk to you all next Friday to let you know what I think about the books that I said I was going to read. Bye-bye.